Hi, welcome to Book Hook. My name is Maya from the CRV Library. Today I'm going to talk about Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld, illustrated by Keith Thompson. Yes, illustrated. Published by Simon & Schuster and recommended for ages 12 and up. Let me start with a question first. Are you aware of the ongoing war between animals and machines? Well, have you ever seen a cat attack a Roomba? Just imagine that, but with a steampunk backdrop of World War I, and you have a pretty good idea of what Leviathan's about. In brief summary, Leviathan is about two characters on opposite sides of a war. The first character is Alec. He is an orphan prince on the run from the people who assassinated his parents. His parents were assassinated June 28, 1914. For you history fans, can you guess who his parents were? And we have Darren, who has disguised herself as Dylan to join the British Air Service aboard a living whale airship. By whale airship, I mean, imagine if Pinocchio decided he wanted to stay and live inside the whale, and that whale was lighter than air. When the war forces these two to cross paths, they have to decide if they're willing to help each other or if their worlds are just too different for them to be friends. Now, there are many reasons why I love Leviathan, as well as the other two books in its series. However, I'll just address my top 3 reasons. So the first reason is the world building is absolutely amazing. So this is a work of steampunk, which is a subgenre of science fiction which involves alternate history as well as steam-powered machines. However, instead of being set in Victorian era England, as I find many young adult steampunk novels are, this is set at the beginning of World War I. And instead of being focused on steam-powered machines, it also has genetically engineered animals. So on one side of the war, you have the Clankers, which are the war machine nations. On the other side of the war, you have the Darwinists, who are the war beast nations. It's almost like your cat versus your Roomba, but on a much larger and fantastic scale. And the second reason why I love this book is because of the characters themselves. So I find many young adult novels tend to focus on the chosen one character, who is the only character in the whole book who can solve the world's conflicts. However, Alec and Darren are exactly what they are. They are teenagers who have been thrown into an unavoidable war. They are not meant to stop the war, they are just meant to survive it, which I find quite refreshing. Additionally, their relationship is not the instant romance, as is also typically seen in many young adult novels. So they are technically enemies. So the relationship begins as a cautionary alliance, which later in the series develops into a friendship, which ultimately concludes in a romance. Again, a bit refreshing. And the third and final reason why I love this book, and you've already seen me point it out a little bit, but it's because of the pictures. There are beautiful black and white illustrations nearly every chapter. It has the machines, it has pictures of the characters, of the beasts, it has pictures of the action. So after reading this book, I realized that I have not outgrown a good picture book. Now, I realize that some of you may have already read Leviathan, or if you haven't read Leviathan, you may have read books similar to it. So I'll go ahead and recommend a few other books that if you read Leviathan, you'll probably like these other books. Or if you read one of these other books, you'll probably like Leviathan. So if you really like the historical fiction where a girl dresses up as a boy, then I do highly recommend the Bloody Jack series by L.A. Meyer. This is where a girl dresses up as a boy to board a British ship. And this is a regular sea ship, not an airship. There's also Girl in Blue by Anne Rinaldi, in which a girl dresses up as a boy to become a soldier during the American Civil War. Now, if you really like steampunk, but you're not all that big on the Victorian era steampunk, I do recommend Airborne by Kenneth Opel. This has similar elements to Leviathan, in which it has an airship as well as a new species of animals. If you are more into the trope of the two characters on opposite sides of a war who come together to make the world a better place, then I do recommend World Shaker by Richard Harland. So, if I have managed to convince you that Leviathan is well worth the read, and it is, make sure to check out the Washoe County Library website to see the different ways you can check out this book. Hope you all have a great day. Goodbye!